It's another edition of the Firing Squad. My name is Nathan Charles. Wade Williams is a co-presenter of this program. Cyrus Magid is also affiliated with this broadcast here on KMTV USA. And welcome to the Firing Squad. Talking points on today's edition of the program. President Joseph Boyga flip-flopping again on his nomination, this time around requesting the Liberian Senate to disregard the confirmation hearing of three of his nominee, who embarrassing the president. Will be going into that discussion as well. Solidarity and Trust for a New Day stand, a new advocacy group called on the national government to immediately halt the layoff of over 40,000 civil servants as CSA boss halt the salary of comptrollers for March in the Liberian government. Some of them salaries will be held back. War and Economic Crimes Court campaign intensifies as the Liberian legislature resumes a special session called by President Joseph Yuma Boyka. Liberian journalist Fatoumata Fofana, residing in the US, launches her book, Fullest, focusing on the resilience of female in the Liberian society. And Double Jada, the new Liberia revenue boss, says he's confident of raising 1 billion US dollars in revenue this year in 2024, but with the messy Liberian system allowed him. We hope to John Boyma, JV Boyma, to speak on some trending national issues. This is the Firing Squad. Weddy Williams, welcome to this edition of the Firing Squad.
Thank you, Nathan. I'm happy to be here.
Okay, straight into discussion today. The major thing, War in Economic Crimes Code, intensify the campaign is still heating up at the national legislature. Yeke Koluba and others held the chambers of the national legislature at a standstill, disrupting session when they went back to the base on Tuesday. Let's give you a peek of what happened. And Funati Kofa spoke. He described the area as market grounded on Thursday which was yesterday.
The clinics.
Well, let's go back to that clip where Funanti Kofa and some lawmakers were in a heated, and he said he would not miss his war. Yeke Koluba and other led the campaign.
This war crime team just distracted us. Do you think other members' ability to so we have to arrest people that they go to arrest people that they get the right to can you control the flow? No, it's not an issue of control. The manner in which your law provides that you need your arm to I'm not prepared to do that at this point.
That's how Funati Kofa House Speaker left the session. But on Thursday, Kofa said he stands by his word that the area is not a market ground for lawmakers. If they have issues, they must channel it through the referral process. But one person who is leading this campaign, Yeke Koluba, spoke to the media. Yeke claimed he fought war and he's not ashamed or afraid to go and face in the tribunal, or I'm not the tribunal, the Truth, War and Economic Crimes Court, to exonerate himself or to explain his side of the story. People like Prince Johnson, Thomas Yaya Nimler, and the rest, they are in government, and hey, including other leaders of Liberia who supported the war, including former Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. But this is Yeke Koluba when he spoke to reporters.
It is. It's taking too long. It is. It is. If we have to do this for 30 days, we'll do it for the 30 days. This is important in anything we're thinking about here.
Is it a quick fix issue?
No, it is not a quick fix something. It started in the 54 and we're delaying the 54. We see people today that endorsing the 54 do not want to endorse it in the 55. That deception is wrong. You can't do that to the people. You can't be for something in the 54, then in the 54.
And this is one of the only thing I agree on the call for the war camp.
Yeah. Thank you. So we are going to ensure that we'll block all the entrances. Watch and see. We'll be in our t-shirt. The
How robust is the legislature this time around to make this?
Look, let me tell you something. Watch the process and see. Look, watch it. You see police? You see police? We are in here to ensure that they think pass. Because look, we're not sitting there and people try to make money, people try to make money all about days. You can't use a walk and co business as executive to keep pushing Prince Johnson. When you want the Nima County vote, then you say walk and co. When you don't need it, then you say it will come. When you need it, you say it will not come. There's not about Prince Johnson, it's about us. We fought war. We want to accelerate ourselves. So that stigma, we can get out of the stigma.
How many of you are part of this?
The majority of the house. Maybe some people, maybe they know the reason why they don't want to be a part of it. You understand what I'm saying? And we know that in the 54 they were part of it. Why today they are not part of it? Like Rachel Kuhn and myself were pushing it in the 54. But today, because Prince Johnson supported Unity Party, they are distancing themselves from it. That deception, you can't do that. You pushing us to the wall. We fought war. We want to go there and accelerate ourselves. Why you keep delaying this thing? It's not about Prince Johnson alone. Prince Johnson not fought war than anybody in the country. We all fought war. We went wrong to our people and we must be prosecuted for it. We must be held liable for it. So precedents can be set. We are pushing precedents. We are not pushing individual. So it's about precedents, it's not about individual. We don't want tomorrow people go and sit and people bring gun to fight war again. Because if Yeke will have to go to jail for fighting war, the next man will not get involved with war. He will say, you see Yeke in jail? They'll be very, very careful how to get involved with war. So, I mean, it's good for the public.
As lawmaker, what is the appropriate step that you're going to take to ensure that this?
Look, we have taken all the steps we needed to take. And if people play politics with the war economic crime, the executive. Because there's election now in Nima County, so they are telling Prince Johnson the war economic crime will not come. And we are going to ensure to block all the entrances, the senators, who will not enter here, until the senators.
How soon would that be done?
My man, it could be today, it could be any time. It's about our lives. It's about our characters.
Instead of a resolution, why didn't the House create a bill? Because it is a bill that will enact the law instead of just a resolution.
Bossman, Lord, let them endorse what we did. Okay, if they say our is not correct, let them do it as a bill, and we're playing game with the thing. Why is the executive playing game with it? Right now, they be Prince Johnson for their support. So they're doing that the war economic crime will not come. And Prince Johnson, I don't know what's wrong with Prince Johnson, because he know the code will come at all means. It will come at all costs. Why is he delaying with the thing for? It's not about Prince Johnson. That Prince Johnson want for war in the country. You go all over the country and say, you get for war. When I start talking against the United Party, you get for war. The people he killed are the people running after him. So I need to go and celebrate myself.
War and Economic Crimes Code wedding. War law, Yeke Koluba is pushing this argument. You saw the flow, Speaker Funati Kofa. And what do you make of this issue of justice for the people through the War and Economic Crimes Code?
Well, I don't know if the people of Liberia are ready. Can you hear me?
It's Brown is seriously ready.
Okay, hold on.
That's where they try.
Yeah, I have to fix this mic.
That's where they try to adjust her mic. But just few days ago, the Fresh Code, Conti Camara was convicted. Let's see your mic. Is it okay now?
Testing.
Great. It's good.
Is
Go ahead.
great?
Yes. What do you make of this?
What I was saying is that this war and economic crimes court has been a long running issue in Liberia since the war ended in 2005. And it's been a lot of politics, played around the issue. But is this what Liberians want? Is this what majority of Liberians want? First of all, Prince Johnson and other political actors, key perpetrators of the Civil War, they are getting old. They're dying away. So are we going to give justice to the more than 250,000 people who lost their lives? Women and children, were raped. People were dismembered. It was a bloody conflict. So are we okay that no one is going to be held accountable for these things that happen over 14 years in Liberia? We keep playing politics because political parties depend on Prince Johnson to deliver Nimba County, which tends, to sway his way. I think the way Nimba votes is always how Prince Johnson wires the county to vote. It's like no one in Nimba has, majority of the Nibayans, they don't have like an independent, mindset. So the only thing will be until Prince Johnson is taken out. It's either he's taken out by the war crimes court or he's taken out by his old age and death. Because it seems like this entire thing is being played according to the way he wants. The government is afraid of him. So it's just politics. The executive, they're playing politics with this whole issue. They're not thinking about the greater good of the country. You have to weigh the greater good. Is it always going to be politicians protecting this man because they need a vote? Because that's the only obstacle we have to a war crimes court in Liberia, because political actors are afraid, to touch Prince Johnson. And you hear him whenever there is this talk about war crimes court. He has never welcomed the idea. He always threatens, and he's been in Liberia for, I think, since 2005, since the war ended. He's been in politics. He has a lot of leverage in the county. I don't know what the leverage is, but he has it. And he becomes a kingmaker. He's been kingmaker for the last decade or so, more, since Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. So I think our lawmakers who represent the people, they need to think about, what do we want? What does the electorate we serve, the electorate that we serve, what do they want? So they need to ask themselves. There need to be a greater reflection instead of the politics, that we play every time there is talk about a war crimes court. Now, the legislature prepared, to set up war crimes court, or is it just, a game they're playing? Because few weeks ago, people were like, oh, the court is going to come. Surely people believe that. But now we see at the legislature, we see lawmakers fighting amongst themselves, disrupting session. They just have to be mature men in there, because it's all male dominated. These men have to show us that they're serious for business. Liberia is changing, the world is changing. So we need to get along with it. And the thing about, this is a human rights related issue. A lot of atrocities were committed during the war in Liberia. People have not, They don't have anything in place for people talking about, what happened to them and their families during the war. Even the TRC was not comprehensive. It was all a political show. It did not consider, the victims of the war. How does a society move past this? The society is still traumatized by the Civil War. That's why nothing good happens in Liberia. People think they're above the law. There's no respect for the rule of law. It's all the mindset of the civil conflict. How can we move past that and become a civilized society where the rule of law is respected, human rights is respected, where basic social services are provided for the people? We are not cutting deals based on who is able to give us the votes out there. So we rely heavily on the speaker. We hope the speaker will do the right thing, and the president pro tempore of the Senate, we hope they can do the right thing, because they're the leaders put in there by the people of Liberia. They weren't put there by PYJ, because they represent the different political subdivisions of Liberia. Not everyone in that building is from Nimba County. Majority of Liberians in that building, Nimba County is just a fraction of the representation in that building. So you cannot just continue to play to the Nimba beat. So something has to be done. It's either you want the war crimes court or you don't. So you have to make up your mind. We've been at this thing for 2005 to 2010 to 2015 to 2020. We are in 2024. It's going to be 20 years almost next year since we've been discussing this. So something has to be done.
And I think, like you said, something has to be done. But those who are stakeholders, because they are at the legislature, they will put that on the floor. They will make that into motion. So without their votes or without them putting it to the discussion, they will not. We as Liberians will never succeed. Like the TRC said, the TRC process was also. Do we
really want the TRC? Because we can get it if we want it. You saw women blocking the roads the other day, and it almost shut the country down. So if Liberians want to do this, they can do it. They can force the government's hand to do this, because it's been too long and the government is unable to act.
Like you said, the government is unable to act because those stakeholders, they are there, like people like PYJ. Like I was reading this guy Conti Camara, who was apprehended for atrocity in Liberia in France. He went to court, and I was like, wow, the testimony. People want justice for those. Like I listened to a couple of people in Liberia before I came, how the NPFL, the PYJ forces and other people had it brutal. They killed their family members. So some people want to tell the story. So one time I asked, can there be peace without justice? Right. So those who, like Yeke Koluba said, he was one of those who also fought war. He wanted to come to exonerate himself. And he said this will serve as a deterrent. So if Nathan Charles is sitting in the US who want to support a war in Liberia or will go to Liberia to support war, he would know, oh, I remember it happened before. So we cannot support violence. We cannot support war. You saw when the U.S. government said during the election that anyone who support or instigate violence in Liberia's election, they will be held responsible. And you saw everybody coming or calling for calm. So there must be some level of harsh punishment. So those who will even think the destabilize of a country should never go. But people like Thomas Yaya Nimne, Roosevelt, Johnson, and the rest of the guys, Bob Naked, Milton Bly, you and I know it's more traumatizing when you hear the story of how he ate human beings and stuff like that.
Yeah, and he's
the sector. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people in the security sector. Like I saw a guy. He's he was controlling one of the forces there when I was a late kid, and he was one of those who they used to do the human intestine and all the human skull on the guns. And I thought we were kids. And that's traumatizing. When I hear about that, I'm like, wow, these are people who need to be brought to book. And so
Yeah, even Yake Koluba. I know I was a teenager on the old road. He was feared during he was feared, man. Those people run around in their cars and shoot up. They will shoot up the area. People were so afraid. If you know anyone who lived on the old road, between that time in the 90s and early 2000, when Charles Taylor was president, you know what happened. You know these people, and you see these people walking the corridors of power, and you ask yourself, what is wrong with Liberia? You
yeah,
know
the
what?
rodent duo.
Yes, you ask yourself, what is wrong with our people? Why do they keep electing, these people with such questionable characters? You know what they did. You were witnesses. You were witnesses, but you get mad when someone robs you or breaks into your house. This is the same thing. You want them in jail. These people are like armed robbers. They're killers. But they parade the corridors of power in Liberia. They make decisions for you and your children for years to come. And these decisions are not made based on conscience. They're hiding within the corridors of power because they want to shield themselves from whatever justice there is. So our people also need to think about how they're electing leaders. They're making all these bad decisions on whenever they go to elections.
I mean, I think it's a normal practice in Liberia. We don't elect people based on character. We don't elect people who are exceptionary leaders. We call them honorables, but see the performances in the House of Representatives and Senators. The people who embezzled from the Ellis Tyler and the Musa Bedi. I can name you
the names.
All of them who are at that Senate or representative. They are the major movers and shakeups who are draining down our country Liberia. But hey, what do? We reward them with state power because that's what poverty does. When people are poor, they take few dollars, go and dash a acting like they are good Samaritan, care for the people. And like somebody said, Liberians, we are somehow sympathetic. The issue of system, we do not go by merit system because this person.
But your sympathy is costing you your life. It's costing your children their future.
Yeah. Well, from Charles Taylor came on man. He came on fire. I will vote for him.
Exactly.
Ellen Justice said she get $10,000. She did not get $10,000 to support war. She's the first female who will vote for him. George Weah, he know nothing, he not know book. He's a
boy, he not know book.
I mean, the rescue mission, he not owe.
He can't remember who's his appointing. We will still vote for him.
So he worked for 12 years, no development, nothing, we still vote for him. So these are things that keep happening, and I don't know what's really happening. I don't know. We need some salt water to wash our people mind.
Yeah, that's why the society is not going anywhere. Liberia has been retrogressing. There has been no progress. Think back after the war in 2005. What progress have we made? What development have we seen? These lawmakers, they cut deals for themselves. First, they don't think about you or your children or how to provide you good medical services and good schools, good roads. They don't think about that. All they do is cut deals all day long.
But look at the concession. Name any successful concession in Liberia.
Exactly.
Acetaminophen, what is it? OTC? I can name from all government time now.
BRE. Buchanan Renewables.
Firestone.
Macintosh, that scandal.
I mean, and it is just happening over and over. What can be done differently? Now, this 78-year-old president, Joseph Imamboga, is in power. He has been nominating people. And recently, he nominated few individuals. But after a few days, even when they went for confirmation hearing, Bobby Livingstone, who was appointed, when they went for confirmation hearing, we are hearing that, hey, he requested the the names to be taken back. Councillor Bobby Livingstone was appointed as Deputy Information Minister for Public Affairs. Joseph Cooper, Executive Director Designate of the Liberia Refugee Repatriation and Resettlement Commission, and Adam Pay, Assistant Minister for Correction and Rehabilitation, Ministry of Justice. What's going on with Joseph Imamboga? He appointed you. Later on, he recalled, you heard that, hey, he appointed, there was rumors he appointed Ibe Blackie as superintendent. He appointed somebody, and later another name surfaced. The deputy for administration and health ministry. We heard another person was appointed from Nima County. Another lady from Bone County is now being appointed. And you're seeing names are in and out. He appointed this other person. This is not his first time. It's not his second, third, fourth time. This thing keeps happening. What's going on? Let's look at the issue with Bobby Livingstone. You've been reading from Bobby Livingstone. He was a key factor, prosecutor in the case of Gloria Musu-Scott. As you know, the story of Gloria Musu-Scott. And now they are saying that because they realized that Bobby Livingstone was one of the lawyers who persecuted Gloria Musu-Scott. Now he should not be given such a position in government. Is this a witch hunt? What's going on? How is the appointment being made by Joseph Imamboga?
But what is it? What impact does his legal service has? What does it have to do with anything? He was just doing a piece of job, as a lawyer. Well, didn't they know this guy before? Didn't they vet him? What is the vetting process like before you are nominated? Who makes the appointments? Is it the president? Is it the chief of protocol? Is it maybe the presidential advisors? The president is surrounded by all these people. He's probably not making these appointments.
I mean, that's why that's why it's going to wars. When the name come out, oh, did you appoint Nathan Child? Like, no, Nathan Child was one of those who persecuted XYZ. Like, oh,
and then he goes and says, look, but who is this person? How did they get appointed? He's probably not in control of whatever is going on.
But this is not the first man.
Yeah, the man is almost 80 years old. He has his own cognitive, problems too. And I think he is not aware of all of these appointments. Now, when they tell you that, oh, he's aware, he knows what's going on,
it's on top of issue.
It's not true. Because I bet you there are people there, like Sylvester Grisby and others, who are cutting deals, with people and slipping in names, and announcing people. Now, this is where the presidential press secretary comes in, because before you release anything to the press that relates to the executive mansion, you have to clear it by the president first. So what is the routine? Does she have a sit down with the president probably every evening and say, oh, let's go with his advisors and say, oh, let's go over these things? Does the executive mansion have a working legal department to go through all these things and say, hey, we don't want to make these appointments, and then it comes back to us, and then we have to go to the legislature and recall these people.
And they went for confirmation.
Yes. And you say, oh, let's recall these people. But you're not doing the due diligence.
Yeah.
Through the vetting process. Because I tell you, the president has the power to appoint over 700 individuals. How can he do that? So he needs a team. That's why during the transition, you build your cabinet. You build your cabinet during your transition, and you You probably work with your cabinet members, to say, hey, who do you think is a good fit? You make the process transparent, because I bet he's not able to appoint all these people by himself, but it just has to be a process. You can have your trusted people and you can work to it, and then when you send a name, you don't have to come back and say, unless the only way you recall a name is when you find something out, you know or when you notice that something is not right with this candidate. Oh, I made the appointment, but then something came up on their background, and then there's public pressure, and then you have to recall the names. Those are normal procedures in political appointments. But you cannot say, oh, I made a mistake by appointing this person, and you don't give a reason why you're recalling the names. Then people begin to question, your control of the process. As president, what do you have control of? If you cannot, guarantee that you have control of the people that you're appointing, what else don't you have control over? What else are you signing away as president? So we have to just keep hoping, that the president has his sanity intact, that he is of good health, and he can steer Liberia, because we haven't even gone. I think we're about 3 months in, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're
Since
about to,
January.
yeah, we're about 3 months into the presidency. The first 90 days will be up soon. So the president has to show that he is capable of leading, and he doesn't have all these pseudo cabinet ministers who are, or maybe presidential advisors who are just, slipping names that he's not aware of.
But like you said, that is the one of the function of the public affairs person,
Yeah.
the PRO, to sit and go over some information to
Mhm.
confirm again. Even those who are vetting, if you call the name Bobby Livingston, you don't even these are public names, so it's nothing to say. Oh, I'm going to make research. These
Yeah,
people
how
work
do their
in
names
government get
how
there, and later, and again, not at the same ministry, but to public
Mhm.
affairs. And later, you like, hey, this name come back and say, let's change this person. After the person went for confirmation hearing, this is getting alarming. This is not the first time. He did that with the EFF, the appointment of the EFF
Yeah,
owner,
made a mistake and appointed somebody else.
the Steve Koluba,
Yeah.
the Imara Gongwe, and this is why Imara Gongwe rose from the economic freedom fighter. He said some politicians Hindis are trying to embarrass the president because they are not interested in anything called change. This president is well intentioned. This president is well intentioned about moving the country forward, but certain misguided individuals are typically pulling him down.
The president that the old lady said, Joe Baga that baby. Baga that baby.
Bagada, Bagada, baby. And I mean, this is embarrassing because we cannot keep doing this. And every meaning, so somebody said, I read on Facebook, do not congratulate anybody when you hear their name, even after confirmation. Do not congratulate them.
Exactly.
I mean, when they appear for confirmation, do not congratulate them. When they start working 4-5 months before you say congratulations. So some of
Yes.
you guys who have been appointed, we will not congratulate you until like 3, 4, 5 months. Then we say congratulations because of like,
Congratulations.
because what happened to the labor inspector Sam Brown before his appointment? Another person was appointed by the labor minister, and he went that day to all the stores and start working.
Oh my
The
goodness.
next day, Sam Brown from while working at the House of Representatives or Senator was appointed as labor inspector.
Oh.
I mean, we can name go on and on and on, but things are not good for the
Yeah,
Joseph.
it just needs to be a good process. It just needs to be thought out and planned with the help of people around the president. So the president cannot remember all these things. So you around him, what are you doing? Presidential press secretary, what are you doing? Why did you release those names? Because that falls heavily on the presidential press secretary releasing those names to the public, those
Well, it's just
appointments.
well, that's why sometimes when you have this position, you need to bring need to have a voice,
Yes.
not just hey, go and publish this thing. You
Say,
just
oh
like
yeah, oh
uh,
yeah, it came from the president. Okay, take it. No, you have to have a sit down. You have to, as a presidential press secretary, you're the mouthpiece of the presidency. You have to have access.
unlimited.
You have to
Unlimited.
have access, because the whatever goes out there, public opinion is gonna make or break your government.
Yeah.
So the presidential press secretary is a very powerful person. And I've seen since the Sirleaf administration, they just appoint people as presidential press secretary with no glamour, with no, they don't have the class and the style to because if I am a presidential press secretary, I make sure I have access to
Oh
the
yeah.
president.
And it's
Unlimited access.
it's public relation. If you do
Yes.
journalism, it's a public relation, doing good and let the public know. Damage control is
Yeah.
hard. And,
Yeah.
so what you do is protect the image.
Yeah.
Even if the legal advisor, people, that's why sometimes, but we don't want to say these things. It's in the president preview, power
Preview, yeah.
to appoint who he wants to. We saw that what happened with Jerry Pia
Yeah.
when he was appointed from somebody who did who worked at gender. He was appointed as presidential press secretary. You
Yeah,
saw what
because he
happened.
was a political what is it? Political extremist for the Unity Party. So they think political extremists make good presidential press secretary.
Yeah,
You
have
see
to
the
go.
likes of Cyrus Badio. When Badio
Um,
was presidential press secretary, you knew that was a presidential press secretary that you had respect for. There have been a few of these people. They are qualified. They understand the media. They have friends in the media. They know what media trends are. They know what public relations is.
yeah.
It's not a zealot. This is not a job for a political zealot. So if you appoint someone who is yes, 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 and doesn't have a mind of their own, and they don't know the job, they don't know what it is to do public relations, then you have yourself a problem. This
Yeah.
is where issues like these come up.
Yeah. And it's not. This is not advocacy. Public relations.
No, it is not. It is not.
It is more a dedicated field. You have to read between the line. You have to think. It's like when we interviewing people, your answer we already know it 2-3 different times. How we can come back to that same question and ask you. So we hope that more people will come around the presidential person
and
will help train her, nurture her into being more, a presidential press secretary material. I think I saw when she took over a few other old hands and held a couple of workshops. But we need contemporary multimedia journalism.
Yeah.
Now it's contemporary multimedia journalism.
Yeah, you
Not
have
the old days.
you have social media. The first thing that happens is a lot of Liberians use Facebook. And this thing gets on Facebook, it goes wild. There's no way you can take it back, because that's social media has had a great impact on how information is disseminated and how misinformation is disseminated. There are people who cannot even distinguish between the two. They don't know what is right, misinformation, disinformation, and what is the actual information that they're getting. What are facts? That's where fact checking come in. First of all, I don't even think these appointments get to the press before they are posted online. The press probably hears of these appointments, or they see it on social media before, they see it on social media after the office of the presidential press secretary has posted it on social media before even releasing it to the press. It shouldn't be that way. There are channels. And there should be filters. You don't just put everything out there on social media as a government. So they really have to work on their PR, whatever that is. But normally, I know in Liberia, presidential press secretaries come and go. They normally don't last in that role. We have a couple of them rolling out within the 6-year period. So we're gonna have a few more of them if this continues.
Yes, we hope Joseph Imam Barker must appoint people with integrity and those who will help guard Liberia. The issue with Stand Solidarity for Trust for a New Day, stand headed by Moluba Molu, who was chairman of the CDC, is now an advocate calling on the government of Joseph Imam Barker not to dismiss over 40,000 civil servants who he claimed they were indirectly, some clandestinely put into government's payroll. Josiah Joker has said that, hey, he wants to weed out civil service. The issue of assets recovery is still is on the hot. They have stopped that. People describe the act from Joseph Imam Barker as gangsterism and call them to halt the process. We saw a few people property were turned over to them by the court. Now let's play you this clip. When we come back, we'll go into more politics. Liberian journalist Fatoumata Fofana has released her new book, and this book is filled of interesting ideas and life-touching stories. The book is called Solace. Fatoumata Fofana worked with the Daily Observer newspaper, right?
Yeah.
Okay, she worked as one of the editors.
Yeah,
and columnist.
Yeah, she worked for the Observer for years as one of the few outstanding journalists, women journalists there. So this is her second book, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, this is her second book, and in this book, she's just released. I think a few days ago, she just released it. So I think Liberians need to look at it. It's available everywhere. It's available for you on your Kindle. It's available for you on Amazon. Barnes and Nobles is in paperback, is in hardback, so you can get it wherever you want to get it. We have just a few authors, in Liberia, especially among our generation. Just a few authors we have. There's so many stories to tell, but she has the courage, to put her story out there. We should be able to support her.
Let's listen to Fatoumata Fofana as she dive into a book. What is it about?
Hi, I'm Fatoumata Nabi Fofana, a mom, a journalist, and author. I was born in PTB's Wedro, Grangeda County, Liberia. I went to school in Ghana, Cape Coast, to be specific. I earned a master's in management from the University of Maryland Global Campus. Here is a paperback version of Solace. The book is available in both paperback and hardcover editions. It is inspired by my mom's passing. I lost my mother on June 10, 2019. The book is actually dedicated to her memory. This story delicately untangles the emotional threads of losing a mother and the extremely disturbing journey of healing and self-discovery that follows. It is an inspiration to others, a reminder that life never stops, that even in the darkest of time, there is still light to be found. My new book, Solace, published on April 2nd, 2024, illustrates the power of resilience in the face of adversity and the strength of the human spirit. So the story actually traces the life of a young woman, Manatu, who grew up in a devout Islamic household where her life was practically mapped out for her. But then again, ambitions and dreams beckoned Manitou beyond traditions. This went on until an unexpected tragedy tears her life apart. That's when the story plunges into Manitou's journey to find healing, redefine her identity, and reevaluate her relationship with life itself. To my fellow female journalists, I say, don't be afraid. Raise your hand for every assignment that comes your way. Just be ready to work harder than you ever imagined.
That's Fatoumata Fofana, the Liberian journalist. That was trading just from the peak of the book, saying
Yeah.
that hey, unexpected tragedy happened, and finding healing, identified yourself, and when people are growing up, their life is being mapped out. Many those from the Islamic community.
Yeah.
You gotta go, you gotta learn the Quran, you gotta be at 16 or 13, 14, get your husband, marry, go to and do this and do that, wear your hajj. So I mean I would love to read that because I know the Islamic area they had a map of meaning the females
Yeah.
life and
Yeah.
women you can't do be a certain place with the men, even in the mosques up to now women and men they do not go into the same area in the mosque. So that's the whole Islamic culture to break out from there and looking at how you can find healing because there are a lot of psychological abuse and stuff like that. I know I did a couple of stories from Lofa County when I won the Human Rights Award report in 2012, where imams, were having underage girls. It's normal according to the practice, but hey, it is against the law. So, I mean, like you said, many people have stories, and until we can write these things or say these things, others
Yeah.
will not be able to grapple from there.
Yeah, so I wish her success in her book, and I hope to get it. I got a copy of her first book, and I hope to get a copy of this one. So get a copy, support a Liberian author. We don't have that many of, Liberian authors out there, that many. So we just support our own. And her advice to journalists, to women reporters, is it's a tough terrain, but you have to persevere. You have to keep putting yourselves out there. There's nothing beyond you. It's only the skies. So yeah, and we're happy for Fatoumata.
And very soon we hope to see Wendy Williams in years to come. I'll be the first to love to read that book. Give you all your memories of Eddie Justice Sharif from the Ebola, being the first to cover the Ebola situation, to bring that photo out to the people when they said Ebola was not real and some of the difficulties you experience. I saw you in the Rocky Sea, being on the front line, the trauma you went through, how your life had been threatened. Some of your own friends were selling you out,
Yeah.
and how you overcame them. So we would like to see most of these developments in your book to come. But Double Jara, the man who is now at the Liberia Revenue Authority, he said he is able and confident to raise $1 billion this year. With our message system, where is that possible?
Which planet is he living on? Anyway, that's a good thing if we can raise $1 billion Liberian dollars or $1 billion USD.
I think it's Liberian dollars.
Yeah, that would be good. So if we raise $1 billion Liberian dollars or
The
US
US
dollars?
dollars,
Yeah.
1 billion is one.
Yeah. So if we are able to raise $1 billion US dollars, most of the problems they're facing in the government would be solved. How does he intend to do that?
From the airport, seaport, taxes,
Mm-hmm.
individual business taxes, because most people don't pay taxes, property tax. They don't
Oh my
pay
God.
business registration. That's the only thing they focus on. They all cut the corner.
No, we took a lot of things from the United States. How come we left the tax thing behind? Because that's like the bedrock of the American society, where you have to pay your taxes here or you go to jail, But then the system is set up in a way that you don't just pay your taxes. If you pay over, you have to file your taxes at the end of the year. So if you overpay the government has incentives so you can get that money back. Do they have that in Liberia? No. So there has to be like a system. You don't just get people to pay money to the government and the people say, what am I getting in return if I do that? You know, what do I get in return? Paying taxes to the government.
I mean, people import goods into the country. That's one of the major source of how
Well, I
government.
get on businesses, yeah. You collect taxes, you know, from businesses, and you expect them to be able to pay, you know, to pay to the government for whatever goods and services they're selling or whatever goods and services they're bringing in. But then, if you talk about taxes on the individual income, then you have to show what you're doing with that tax dollars. You know, then with the kind of corruption we have in Liberia, I'm sure the government collects taxes on civil servants, you know, salary.
I know very well
Do
from
they?
I know very well from when I was working at ELBC. I only know of Social Security almost 10 years. I know, but
Yeah.
they took all that money from me from Social Security.
So yeah. So
Maybe I
what
would
do
never
you
bene-
get
I know
when
I would never benefit from that. 10
Yeah.
years.
Yeah,
took-
so the government is
I know that.
basically stealing from you, taking money that they're not going to give you. Because when you put money into Social Security, that is supposed to guarantee
Yep.
that when you are of a certain age and you cannot work anymore, there are people who will put money into Social Security to keep you up.
But that's the stealing part, because I worked for 10
Mhm.
years in government. I was paying the Social Security. Now
Yeah.
I left government. What happened to that
Where's
money?
my money? Where's the account? Can I even see how much is in my account?
Once you leave government, it's over for you.
Yeah.
So
So-
will you remain in government all of the days of your life? No.
Yeah. So people will ask, like, is it transparent? What am I getting out of it? Because you pay taxes to benefit from stuff, you know? So what am I getting out of it? So there needs to be like a restructuring. You know, we've taken so much, you know, copycat system, you know, from the Americans, but we haven't really thought about how we can generate revenue in a proper way.
But this is something that is coming to happen. I've been hearing that our lawmakers, they are giving duty privileges for 2 vehicles. Some of them, if they know Nathan is in the US, they will call me. Okay, since I have 2 vehicles privilege, so send me a car. Just pay me the money. Though it's your car, Nathan, but hey, just pay me the money. Send in my name. So Double Jada is also planning to cut that out. But I'm hearing that they are going to fight him, because that's how some of them are making some money. Should they be having?
I mean, they shouldn't do that. I think they should have their duty-free privilege as lawmakers. They should have their duty-free privilege, but then there should be caveat on how they'll use it. And if they find out that you're selling your duty-free privilege, then it becomes a violation of that privilege, and probably that privilege can be taken away from you.
Bro, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I think they're entitled to it, since, you know, they're what is it called, first class citizens in Liberia. You
So
know,
there's the Zugo
honorable.
at the least class.
Yeah, honorable people. So probably they're entitled, because sometimes they might wanna, you know, lobby for some help. They don't want to go through the whole process. They want to bring, maybe take for example, what if they want to bring an ambulance, or what if they want to bring a car to donate, you know? So I think they should have that privilege. But the thing of abuse, that's when, you know, there's a problem if they abuse, you know, whatever privilege that they have. So
Yeah, and I mean, like businesses, people, you know, in other areas need to start paying their business tax, because people are
Yeah.
unemployed.
Yeah.
Again, they need to automate the system that if I'm here paying my taxes, I can know that yes, because I know people from the Painesville area. Painesville City Corporation will collect their own tax, and then the revenue department will collect their own taxes. So
Yeah.
it's just all kinds of way. I know even in the US, every county collect their own tax, but hey, these taxes are vividly seen in terms of development. And you can trace it. You can go and see all of the time you pay your taxes. Like
Yeah.
I'm here, my property tax in Jackson County. Every year, it pop up on your screen. Hey, this is the time due. If you late, this is a fee. So you have that system put in place to institute a check and balance, because once there is no accountability, people like, oh, okay, you come again. I come into your drugstore, give me $10.
Yeah.
I will then give you some kind of receipt. I'm importing a continuum. People listening to what happened to the Freeport, and how continuum enter the Freeport is just there. Some people pay money to brokers, and it is cut across the corner. They get fake receipts because once this system is not automated, technology is not in the order of the day in Liberia, it will be an issue. Even in the public transport system, even in the US, do you give driver money? You give you change? No. Even on the train,
You don't even have that on the train, on the buses. Even if you have cash, you have to put it in the machine.
the machine.
Yeah. So there's no way for you, even though people try to get on the buses here for free, but now you have police officers now sitting on buses here in DC, and if you try to get on the bus and ride it for free, you're gonna get a $50 slap citation. They're not playing with you for that $2.
Okay, so me wrapping up here, but let me ask Weddy if she's brave to call this lawmaker to eat with her. Representative,
Yeke is getting down to the earth, okay? Down to earth with the people.
can you ever call Yeke to eat your food? Or
No,
Weddy?
he ate it down to the last to the last grain. No, he's not playing. He's not playing with you guys. It's like we will eat this food equally.
Don't never call
equally.
Yeke to eat your food. And we are getting reports that Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn identifies with families of Chicotown mudslide in Riverside County. 11 person died in that mudslide, and the Vice President was there on to speak to them. According to him, he said government will institute means to ensure that such a thing do not happen. And he also 200,000 Liberian dollars and 10 bags of 25 kg rice were presented to the families of food for the surviving, currently seeking medical attention, while the family of those who died in the tragic received 100,000 Liberian dollars, 10 bags of 25 kg rice, and one mattress each as initial contribution from the government of Liberia to the president. And he was accompanied to Chicotown mining site by several government officials, including National Security Advisor Councillor Samuel Kofi Woods, the Riverside County Legislative Caucus chaired by Wellington Jevon Smith, and official of the National Disaster Management Agency. So Jevon Smith lauded the initiative of government to identify with the situation in the county, particularly the victims of recent calamity, but wants the central government to do more in creating jobs opportunity. Vice President visited that site in Grand Riverside County, and the man who is now Commerce Minister, uh, uh, what his name, Commerce Minister Amin Munda, says that he will help transform the sector, meaning that the issue of our staple food, rice, he said he will make the price on the market affordable. You
Can
know,
he let us grow rice, grow and produce rice? Prices are increase. Rice is expensive everywhere. Even here, you pay what? You pay $15 for a 5 pound bag of rice here. But the thing is, the options is that Liberians, if we have to eat rice all the time. If we don't eat rice, then it becomes an issue. So we continue to eat rice. We have no other options there. It becomes a problem. Leighton, you good there with your camera?
yes, where the my other camera went off. Yes, I'm good. Trying to readjust
Mhm.
and get this sitting here. Yeah, you are speaking about the issue of rice.
Yeah, the thing is, we have so much food in Liberia, but rice is like the staple. So if people don't have rice, it becomes an issue. We fought a war over rice. We had a big civil conflict that was related to rice. So, but do we grow rice enough to feed ourselves? So the commerce minister, agriculture minister, what are they doing to help Liberia grow the rice that we eat? Make it empower local businesses so they can produce this rice, because most of the rice we have is imported into Liberia. And the world is getting expensive for business, so you don't expect rice to be cheap, you know?
And we know what
It's
happened. Rice cost disturbance in Liberia.
yeah.
The 1989 rice riot.
Yeah, rice is the thing is commodities around the world are increasing. So if you are not producing that stuff, the prices, of course, is going to rely on what the world market price is. So if we are not producing, why do we want it for cheap? You have no control over that unless the government wants to subsidize um what is importation of rice. But then why won't you just create avenues to produce your own rice and empower local farmers and local businesses, you know, and have a mill in Liberia and have somewhere to produce rice? Because the rice you eat is produced somewhere, you know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Liberia's international culture icon Fatu, Princess Fatu Gayflor, met
Oh, that's
yesterday.
my girl. That's my girl. Is
Oh,
she in
Princess.
Liberia?
Yeah, she met with President Joseph Imamboka Tuesday, April 2nd, at the Executive Mansion in Monrovia. During a meeting, Princess Fatu Gayflor made it clear that she is deeply concerned about the current state of promoting culture in
She's
Liberia
right.
and
She's right.
expressed her disappointment with the demolition of the Kidnija Culture Village years ago, which was supposed to be relocated and rebuilt. She
They never
emphasized that
did.
more needs to be done to promote the national culture and enhance its tourist industry. It's Judy Andy Warwick right now.
I mean, Princess Fatu Gayflor is an icon, clear cut. She's a Liberian treasure.
Hmm.
You know,
Tell us more
those
about
of
her.
those of us who grew up
Okay.
listening to Princess Fatu Gayflor, normal days Liberia, Her music, I walked into a restaurant in Baltimore and they were playing Princess Fatou Gayflor. They were playing one of her songs there. She's a Liberian icon, but we don't, we do not, once they are not politically active or, being like foot soldiers of the people in power, nobody cares about these icons that we have. She's been living abroad. She's not been involved in the politics, whatever it is. She hasn't been involved for years, so people didn't even know if she was still around. Her songs, her music, oh my God. Her music is amazing. It's amazing, and I am so happy to see her back in Liberia, and I hope she doesn't get sucked up into their politics, into whatever politics. And I see Kekura Kamara there. These are the people back. Malawala, Balawala, those days, man. That's the Liberia that we miss. We'll never get that Liberia back.
Everybody running to the TV.
You run into your TV to make sure, those culture, those are the things that Liberians genuinely lost. We lost a lot during the civil conflict. We have our tradition, we have our culture. We love the Liberian way. And these are the people when we think about them, what they did in the past, they are icons to us.
This breaking down the Kedinja Culture Center, she expressed disappointment. And Joseph Imaboga was last president under Ellen Justice.
Yeah, and they brought Robert. Yeah, they brought the Robert Johnson.
Robert Johnson.
And said they were gonna rebuild Kedinja. They built a hotel. That was a bad decision. We need to learn to protect historical heritage. We need to protect these things. Even here in America, there are places that are protected by law. You cannot just go and develop and build a skyscraper on these lands. You have to respect your culture. You have to respect, the things that make us Liberian. If you walk into a restaurant abroad and you listen to a Liberian song, you say, oh my God, that's my song. Or you walk into a restaurant and hear someone speaking in a Liberian accent, you will stop. And you say, oh, are you from Liberia? That's the things, that make us, Liberians, but we don't appreciate it. So I hope the government now, Joe Baka always said, oh, I wasn't the president, so I couldn't do much about it. Now he's president, and I hope, he can do more to elevate, Liberia, elevate our culture. Julie Andy's position as culture ambassador, I think that role was the culture ambassador thing after the war. It was like transformed into like a political, something to serve the political powers that be. But basically, that's not what a culture ambassador, should do. Just cater to the president, dance whenever he has a guest, go to Roberts Field, get guests, dance for them, take those girls to events, let them dance. No. There are other things. There are other, industry that the culture rolls into. Our music, our drama, the Liberian drama, the music, the food. There's so much, to culture than just, being a friend of the president. So I hope we can restore that. I hope that can be restored.
They call it PFP, personal friend of the president, PFP.
Yeah.
And before we wind down, let's give you this. KMTV is partnering and bringing this to your screen on Satcom. But listen to this, what KMTV has for you.
Out my 25 years in the industry, I have had the opportunity to collaborate with so many talented Liberians, but there's one complaint that I've heard throughout the years, and that is a lack of formal training schools for artists. But that's all about to change.
The Creative Arts Center, in collaboration with Creative Afrique, is about to turn that narrative around. Join us on Saturday, April 20th at 4 p.m. for a casting call for the new TV show, Triple Threat Academy. Calling all singers, rappers, dancers, and actors. This is your chance to shine.
It's time to finally be trained by professionals like Nina Touch, our lead instructor. She's a choreographer, a seasoned performer, a trainer. She does it all.
Our rigorous training program will cover singing, dancing, acting, public speaking, portfolio curation, and even performance enhancement. Plus, participants will be featured weekly on KMTV on Channel 3 on SATCOM to help leverage their brand.
Register now by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the caption.
Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing. What's her name? Coachelle? I know her. She's a social media influencer, I think, from Liberia.
Yes. If you want to participate, contact KMTV and we'll be glad to help you bring that skill. Some people have hidden talents, and once
Yeah,
you're
a
in the
lot.
platform, and they will coach you and train you how to do performances and other stuff like that, singing and everything. Take advantage of that. Contact KMTV and we'll be glad to lift that talent out there.
That's great.
Okay, Wade Williams, time if I spend any final word as we wind down this thing. Liberia, Joseph Imamboka is still fighting on flip flopping. His government officials, issue of war and economic crimes code. What can be done differently in Liberia to help improve the living conditions of Liberians? And what is it like living in Liberia under the Joseph Imamboka leadership as compared to the Taylor era? Edin Joseph Sharif, George Weah.
Well, I think it's too soon to rate, what it's like to live under Joe Barker. It's not even 90 days yet. They're still picking up.
Listen to Yeke.
Sexual everything. Let them go to corrupt Joseph Walker. Why are you giving NSA 11 million work? Where's NSA doing? Where is the 30 million whatsoever are there? Only harmonization. Only harmonization to carry the Sewa salary part. You know they got money for Sewa in the budget?
Did they?
Yes, they got 9 million. Bossman, you can't went to tell say Joseph Walker do not have interest in the country. They bring money there, they are there to steal, they there to employ the people that will go take money and bring it to them because all of them want to be president in this country. And Joseph Walker is traveling on a power road. Because we were harassing in the town.
What is that he has on that hospital gown on him there?
I've seen that time you will not believe it. Now what I'm happy for. Now I raised my left for.
Somebody told me when I initially hosted you that I like Yeke.
What do you make of Yeke? And I mean, as I was asking the question, I just thought to play that video.
Yeke is, I don't know what to make. Why did they even elect this guy? In the first place, this guy is off the chains. He's like, he's just all over the place. He had problems with the previous administration. Now he has problems with the current administration. He goes on a tirade, all the time. But sometimes some of the issues that he raises, are legitimate concerns. So I think the government needs to try to work with this person because he's in the legislature. What is it? What is it that broke the relationship between Yeke and the current administration? Because he supported Joseph Boakai during the elections, right?
Yeah.
So, and less than 90 days, after
less than 10 days.
Yeah, and there's bad blood, brewing between him and the UP. But some of the things that he raises, he has a point. You know, he has a point. The thing is, how are you cutting? That's why I said Joe Kai, he needs to be really, really careful. I don't know if he's doing this genuinely or he's going after people for political reasons. He's on a cleansing campaign there at the Civil Service Agency. So we need to know, let's see, what he's doing, but some of these things are going to lead to legal fights, which is going to cost them even money, because when they go to court, that costs money to go into court. If you illegally fire people, you have to pay them. If the court rules in their favor and they sue you for damages, you have to pay damages.
Punitive, psychological
Yeah.
damages.
I don't know where is this leading? Do you have a bloated payroll that you want to cleanse? Or are you just going after people because of their political convictions? So we'll see where that leads. Whatever he's doing there at the CSA, I hope he's doing it the right way. And I hope, it doesn't have a backlash, on whatever he's trying to do.
Our lawmakers are back on a special session to pass the national budget. What can be done differently during this special sitting?
I mean, what have they ever done right? There should be on the road discussion by lawmakers to their constituents. You go back home, you talk to your people, you ask them, hey, this is the budget that we have. You have to explain the budget, to the people.
They even read the budget, so not even know.
You have to explain, what's in the budget for you. How does this benefit you? What changes do you need to see there? That's how you do it. And then the House, because the legislature should make budget based on what people want, because these are going to affect, like, how much are you investing in agriculture? We talk about people not having enough food. What are you doing about increasing food production? And you are contributing to sustainability. What are those things that you're doing? Investing in agriculture, how much money has been placed, on agriculture investment? How much are you investing in the health sector? How much are you investing in education? We need to see these things. What is the biggest investment in the budget? So these are the things that we need to see, and these are the things that the legislature has to look at. You build more hospitals, we build more roads, we invest in local farmers, because the farmers will need the road, to bring their goods to market, because I think up to now Liberia does not have a system where it preserves its food, so these foods, rot along the way. What are we doing? Are we providing like storage units and freezers to farmers, so they can freeze some of the things, that they're able to freeze, or dry up some of the things that they're able to dry up? In terms of packaging, do they package food, or we just put all that food in a bowl, in a big container, bring it to the market, spread it out? What is changing about, how we do things like that?
Yes, food preservation, and we hope that more money will be put into agriculture, because $1 million was added to the current budget, additional towards agriculture. And this other development here, finally, as we wrap down, Janji Blapi, what his name?
Janji
Bape, the chairman of the advocacy group for Cry for Justice, has postponed its nationwide protest from April 6 to May 7 to ensure that the public trust.
These people need to stop playing with April. They need to stop playing with April because April is Liberia's Ides of March.
Julius Caesar's
Yeah,
April 6th.
April is a dark month in Liberia for some reason. Something is in the air in the second half of April. When we go past April 15th, then we can do whatever we want to do. But the month of April is, for Liberia, it just reeks some kind of demonic thing for Liberia, for Liberia. Something just hangs over that country in the month of April. So people need to stop planning protests for April. You can do your protests after April. You can plan all your demonstrations, after April, but let's have a peaceful April. And April is a holy month. Most of the times we have Easter in April. Most of the times we have Ramadan in April.
But it is the other way around.
Yeah, but it's always a problem. It's always a problem. Politically. So we need to stop.
We need to stop. Thanks so much, Wade Williams, for the time. We will catch you here next week with all of the happenings in Liberia, from the Joseph Human Boca leadership onto what Liberians can do differently. Oh, there will be by-election in Nima and Grand Jide County as a result of vacancy there from the death in Nima County and Grand Jide. The National Elections Commission chaired David Lasana spoke about the process on the by-election. Hopefully we cannot get that video here for you. But hey, if you are in Nima County, Jeremiah Kun will be replaced from Nima County.
The vacancy he created by being president.
So we hope it will not be influenced again by the Godfather to decide to give the people what he wants or who he wants them to vote for. Thanks so much, Wade, and have yourself a wonderful weekend. Enjoy from Maryland, Liberia.
Maryland, USA, okay?
Maryland, USA. Okay. Have yourself a great day. Let's see.
You too. Have a great day.
Out my 25 years in the industry, I have had the opportunity to collaborate with so many talented Liberians. But there's one complaint that I've heard throughout the years, and that is a lack of formal training schools for artists. But that's all about to change.
The Creative Arts Center, in collaboration with Creative Afrique, is about to turn that narrative around. Join us on Saturday, April 20th at 4 p.m. for a casting call for the new TV show, Triple Threat Academy. Calling all singers, rappers, dancers, and actors. This is your chance to shine.
It's time to finally be trained by professionals like Nina Touch, our lead instructor. She's a choreographer, a seasoned performer, a trainer. She does it all.
Our rigorous training program will cover singing, dancing, acting, public speaking, portfolio curation, and even performance enhancement. Plus, participants will be featured weekly on KMTV on Channel 3 on SATCOM to help leverage their brand.
Register now by scanning the QR code or clicking the link in the caption.
And of course, good afternoon, folks. This is Ghana Television. Members of the House of Representatives shouting has stopped shouting the name Walker and Court. Speaker Chief Bonati Kofa has made history on his watch. The establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court has finally come to Liberia.
Hello everybody, my name is Terry Bowden, of course your boy Terry G right here again today, and it's a beautiful sunny day in Minnesota. For some reason we're having a great winter. The weather is so super today, and I'm in the city of Crystal at the Grateful Family African Market, And this establishment is owned by my own friend and brother, Cyrus McGee. We go way back as media colleagues, the buddy, and you know the rest. But I'm here to support this establishment. You know, it's a small business, but it's growing and it's going to grow. And if you live in the city of Crystal, you down Bloslick Road, you in Brooklyn Center, you in New Hope, you in Maple Grove, this is a one-stop shop for you for African deli, goose, and merchandise and cooking materials. You can just walk in here and Cyrus will be here to serve you. You can get all your African stuff to cook your potato green, cassava leaf. I love pan butter, so I'm gonna get some pan butter stuff. So yeah, let's support our own, man. Let's promote our own. We can do it better for each other than ourselves. So let's do it. It's Cyrus McGee here and the Grateful African Store. Grateful Family African Store. Thank you.